This is an Adventures in Middle-Earth actual play using fantasy grounds. You can find session summaries, items and characters on World Anvil, where our campaign is called In the Shadow of the Mountains. You'll find links to that and other forms of media for our sessions, as well as an index of this episode in the description. As usual, this episode has jump cuts to speed up the session. Previously, Walar, the slave from the Dwimmerhorn, spoke of the many orcs, wargs and slaves at the evil fortress. With this information, the party withdrew northwards to the Gladden to rendezvous with their water transport manned by 2 fishermen. They never showed, so could be assumed to have been waylaid by orcs. As the adventurers waited, they met a hobbit, Byrgol, the last of his community that once thrived in the area. He vowed to one day resettle the Gladden Fields, so his people could prosper once again. The Fellowship convinced him and Walar to accompany them north to Mountain Hall, but have stopped at Trader's Island, first to restock. It is now time to leave.
You're heading north. It is getting towards dusk, but it's still just light. You've probably got about 30 minutes of daylight left. You see some trees ahead. This is woods close to the Wolfwood, but kind of on the outskirts. Maybe they would far enough west they would become the Wolfswood, but it's not. It's still broken, and that's what you can see. So what I'm going to do, guys, is to keep it easy, because you're essentially looking for a campsite or looking for somewhere to stay. But I'll leave it up to you, kind of how far you go. I'll put it in round order. So you can see a lot further up. There looks like there could be an animal path or something going up.
That's crashing around.
Okay, all move. Keeps going. Looks like it kind of starts bending round to the east.
So is this the stuff around us is impenetrable brush, or just?
No, it's just it's like briars, more scrub, less foresty. It's kind of scrubland, but it's quite tall in places. It's like 10 feet tall. Okay, so when you get up to here, it kind of branches towards the north and then also keeps going south as well.
Are there any tracks?
Good idea. Give me a survival check in the tower. Anyone else looking?
Yeah, I'm going to ask. Go ahead. Have a look down here, you lad. Is there any tracks, anything we can follow or avoid?
Animal Freed will do the same.
Sigmar, you go, look, down here. And just to the side of the path, Sigmar, you spot, well, it can't be real, but it's an absolutely enormous heel print in some softer mud. And it's about, now you look, and it's covered with a few leaves, but it must be 2 inches deep in what's fairly compact ground. So it's almost as if some absolutely huge boot has just trodden in some softer part of the ground. You can see where it's slipped a bit, but it's no person's boots are that big. It's absolutely vast.
Can we find another one? Can we work out stride length and find another one?
Doesn't look promising.
Looks like it's probably made within the last couple of days. And yes, as you look, you can see another one, and the strides are probably, so the foot must be 70 centimeters, 80 centimeters long. Big splayed toes area at the end, massive heel. The stride length is probably 3 times what a man's stride would be. But you're getting, that was kind of...
Are we in ancient woodland, or are we in a bit of scrub, or what?
Scrub, it's hilly. So you can see from the area you've come from before you went into the wood, and it's similar to that in the wood. There was kind of gullies and rocks poking through. It's like, imagine somewhere like Dartmoor. It's a bit like that, but with more scrub. Let's kill the music and play some...
Jazz.
There's no circumstance where anyone should say, let's play
more jazz. No, I agree entirely with you.
What this situation needs is a bit of jazz.
Can I find anything?
Wow, whatever this creature is, it is truly enormous. Well, presumably whatever it is, we'll be able to see it from quite a range.
Sorry, I wasn't concentrating on what you're doing. I'm too busy fiddling around with sound. Okay, so Hartfast dives south. Everyone else kind of looks a bit north. So to the north, Sigmar, it opens up into a much larger area. So you can see, there's a big kind of area of grassland almost like it's not flat. It's a bit like Dartmoor. There are broken areas, all that kind of stuff there. But that's what you see, and what you see, Hathis, is a path that unfortunately looks like it kind of peters out. So you could follow it and hack your way through some stuff, but it kind of just goes.
No, it's not. He's not that adventurous. He was just having a quick look round the corner. He also felt a bit exposed at the front of the party, so it's an opportunity to duck to the back.
Which way did the footprints go? Where Sigmar's going?
So they're kind of coming from that direction and going back that direction.
If we're going to make
very
camp,
dusky now.
If we're going to make camp tonight, I don't really want something that big running around into our camp. So either we try and track it down, or we find somewhere very defensible.
A couple of days ago, wasn't it? It's got long gone by now.
Well, yeah, true, maybe. Just don't like the way it's come this way and then come back this way. That means it wasn't going through the area. That means it lives in the area, probably.
Sigmar, do some scouting. What could go wrong?
I'll go and collect wood by the old mine workings.
Then again, what Hathis sees is all enclosed by brush. So does it look like a good campsite?
Well, it's off the beaten track, but
doesn't look bad. You'd probably be better camping right in the brush if you want to be very well hidden, but up to you. Or you could investigate. There might be something better further up.
Well, we know where this place is. We can come back to here. But let's head on a wee bit more.
How late is it?
Getting dark.
So we're looking for a better campsite. What makes it a better campsite? Walls? Building?
Fewer trolls.
I think it's a troll print.
Well, it's big and has feet like that. Giants?
They're not real. No one's ever seen those.
Trolls would be bad.
Can we smell the footprint? Does it smell particularly foul? Or was too long past?
Ewan might be able to. If Ewan wants to make a perception check.
Ewan can make a sniff roll. Hang on, notes.
He just sniffs Monin's ass. Doesn't get any new information.
Background level.
So just roll a perception check. I think it's an advantage actually, but it's
perception
it's
+3, wisdom +1. So it's his perception's +3, I guess.
I think you make anything involving your nose at advantage as the dog as well as a hound.
Okay, so advantage.
So just do that. So all you'll get if he senses something untoward, he won't be able to communicate with you. But just
so am I doing? Is this just Ewan doing this, or is this Hathis doing this?
No, it's you. Your nose doesn't work as good as Ewan's. So just give me a D20 at advantage +3 in the tower, and I'll interpret.
Advantage D20 +3 in the tower. Whee!
You see as he starts sniffing around, it's one of the footprints, particularly deep compared with the others. His heckles rise up. He kind of goes into a bit of a crouch. His tail gets all bushy. He starts growling.
I'm gonna have a look.
So he's kind of looking around, sniffing the ground, and just growling. He doesn't look happy.
Give him a comforting stroke, but
it's not getting. The weather's turning a bit. Maybe, don't know.
Maybe it's
okay.
Creature is truly evil, and he doesn't like it.
Yeah, it's hard to gauge.
There's nothing in the footprint, nothing squashed or crushed in that particular footprint.
Oh no, it's just maybe he got a stronger scent from it there.
Yeah, it's got a nose full.
You've not found anywhere particularly good to camp yet.
Oh well, it's hard to see, but to the north of us looks like a huge, great open area, and the bit we're in isn't.
I think where Hathis is a nice little.
I mean, you can't see much further actually anymore because it's getting dark.
Let's do it here then.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, just feel free to move yourselves in there. Okay, so any precautions? It's dusk. It's probably it's about 6-ish p.m. 6:08, I think. Are you lighting a fire or anything like that, or?
Good.
Probably
God, not. No. Also, the people with
die without.
Go on now.
No, I was just going to say, unless we die without one, I don't know how cold it is, but I imagine we'd die with one.
Do you need to know the weather? I think that was
God, what are you saying?
It's your fault, Neil, that one.
Where are you? Wolfswood, 29, 48, 419.
Just-
Oh, don't worry, boys. I've got you covered with the weather. It is. Oh, it's quite warm. It's really warm, actually. It's the summer. So 18, probably it's going to drop to about 18 Celsius overnight.
Oh, that's all right. Don't need a fire
which
for
is
that.
really warm. Yeah.
But it's
But
now barbecue
unfortunately,
weather.
it's moderate rain for a few hours, so that's not so good.
Does Sigmar have dark vision, night vision?
Yeah, effectively, yeah.
So Monin and Sigmar can see at night. Can anybody else see at night?
No.
So I know I can see the watch order here on the party sheet has myself and Sigmar third and fourth watch. We should probably be in the middle of the night, Sigmar and Monin, and then maybe Hathis and Amalfrida on either end when there's more light.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
I can do that. So I'll make Amalfrida 4 if you're okay with that, Amalfrida, and I'll make Sigmar 2.
Right. Hathis has got first watch. It'll still be light. If it's the middle of summer, it'll be light till 9, 10 o'clock up. That's good.
So Hathis, everyone kind of beds down. It's kind of mild. There's a few owl calls you can hear in the distance. Not a lot of normal animal noise at night. Bird noise or foraging animals, you're just not hearing any of that.
Yep.
Definitely nothing
Too
large.
quiet. Too quiet.
But your watch goes pretty uneventfully. You hand over to Sigmar, who's yawning in his bedroll. Take about 30 seconds to wake him up. The poor bugger's knackered, and you eventually get him awake. And he struggles to keep his eyes open. Probably did doze off during his watch, but fortunately nothing cropped up. And he thankfully eventually hands over to Monin for his watch. Monin just stands resolutely stiff as a board right at the entrance to that little clearing you've got. Watches all night or for his watch, and nothing happens. So hands over to Amalfrida. And Amalfrida, give me a perception check. You're yawning and stuff, Amalfrida. You're pretty tired, but you can hear noise coming from probably that direction, somewhere in that really big open area, just above you. And it looks like it's traveling south towards your kind of path. It's hard to tell what it is, though. It's just some almost like grunting, maybe.
I'll wake the others up and tell them I can hear noises.
So how are you waking them up? Shaking them?
Yeah.
Okay, so I say everyone wake up now, so you're all awake. Realistically, anyone sleeping in armor will not be... So actually, I should make a ruling on this. I won't do it right now. So from an RP point of view, I doubt you'd have your armor on. I probably will create a rule for this. If you sleep in your armor, you won't regain any hit dice to use for healing, even though they're only slim because of the discomfort. Whereas if you do, you will. It's just a small penalty for that. Anyway, it's you kind of if you have your armor on or not right now. Amalfrida, you will do. You're on guard. The rest kind of I'll leave it up to you right now. You don't, of course. Okay, cool. That makes it easy. All right. So what we'll do is just go into a tactical situation. So everyone roll initiative.
Just like the Monin would be wearing armor, especially with the reason being the footprints. That's what would put him on edge. If he hadn't seen the footprints, yeah, he'd probably be in a chain shirt or something. I think it's like a casual shirt.
Okay, good.
Like most people wear a night shirt. He wears a chain shirt.
His loungewear. Yeah. Okay.
The exhaustion's still there, still exhausting me, as it were.
It is. It will be until you have a long rest in a sanctuary. First up, appropriately, is Amalfrida. So, Amalfrida, what you want to do? You can hear this noise. It's getting louder coming from the north.
Okay, I'll step to there and have a look and see what I can see.
Okay, as you get, so I won't move you all the way. As you get to there and you're looking up, what you suddenly see is that thing coming south towards the entrance. And you could swear he's almost humming. Like that, but much gruffer. So that's what you immediately see. So it's up to you if you want to move all the way up, you can. Otherwise, you've just taken a movement. You can do whatever else you want.
I'll finish my move and come to there.
Okay.
Ready my weapons. I'll ready my weapon and just warn the others that... What does this thing actually look like? Is it bipedal? Is it... I mean, all it says is big scaly brute.
I will describe it. So it's a bipedal humanoid. You would say you've seen orc before. It's orc-like, except it's much, much bigger. a little bit uglier even than orcs. It looks like it's clad in some sort of close-fitting mesh of scales almost.
Right.
Or maybe that's their hide. It's hard to say. It doesn't look... Hang on a second. Just give me a stealth check, if you don't mind. Let's see if it's noticed you. Doesn't look like it's seen you. Hasn't altered its gait, hasn't made any sound or anything like that, but it's definitely heading towards the entrance where you are. So how are you warning them? Are you shouting? What are you doing?
Okay. Is it carrying any weapons?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Let me give you a picture so you can see what it looks like.
Okay.
You look like you don't want to get hit by one of those fists the size of your head, basically. But I think it is carrying a weapon as well.
All right. So I'll retreat to here so that the others can see me, and then try and gesticulate that if I hold up one hand, point to where it is, and lift my hand above my head to kind of give an indication that it's bigger than me.
Oh, nice. Okay. So you kind of sneak into the light underbrush just on the side of the path there, and crouched. I guess you're just crouched ready. Which weapon have you got out? Your axe, I guess.
Axe.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, Monin, you're... Actually, no, Sigmar maybe to see. So just give me a routine. Sorry, it's wrong master. Give me a perception check. It's a pretty low DC. It's as if you spot Amalfrida. Hang on, it's not your go. It's not your go yet. I'll do that when it's your turn. This thing starts moving. It's just like ambling down from the north. It's not going particularly fast, and it's nearly right up to where you are, Amalfrida. And that's hilarious. Still absolutely oblivious to you. That's what all it's doing this round. Next up is Huan, if he wants to do something.
No, he does not want to do anything apart from maybe reverse very quietly into the bushes in a I'm very small and you can't see me kind of way.
He can get this strong odor. I mean, Amalfrida, you can smell the stench from this thing. So are you doing anything to control him? He is a wild animal.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to put a hand on him and very quietly shush him, and maybe even slightly put my hand over his muzzle so he doesn't start barking and yapping.
Okay, just give me an animal handling check.
Oh, good. Skills. Animal handling. Oh, bloody hell, okay. Open or tower?
You can do it in the open. Okay, it's not that close yet. He starts to. You can see his hackles rising, and you can hear a very low growl forming in his throat. But you calm him down, and he doesn't make any noise. And Hartfast, it is now your turn.
I will.
So you don't know what's happening, or you can't see Amalfrida from where you are. So all you know at the moment is that Amalfrida went around the corner. That's all you know.
And the dog started to growl. So I know.
And the dog's growling. Yeah, you know something's happening. Yeah.
In which case, I shall stand stock still and wait until, if the others attack, I will attack. But other than that, I will wait because I can't see what's going on.
All right. So it is now you, Sigmar.
Well, is my dark foreboding telling me anything useful about this? Tell, for example, whether an orc band is an isolated raiding party or part of a larger force being driven by something more sinister, etc.
Yeah, so I'll say you've seen Amalfrida. Give me an easy insight check to see if you realise what's happening. Otherwise, you just won't be able to interpret what she said.
What's an easy? Just an insight check.
Just an insight check, and I'll. Unfortunately, you see her making some hand gestures, and your brain's a bit fuzzy, and you can't work it out. So basically, I will give you that option, but only if you see the thing. You haven't seen it yet, and you couldn't interpret from her what it is.
So I'm not foreboding anything at the moment.
You're not foreboding anything at the moment. You're just basically knackered. You feel just really tired.
Have I understood anything at all about what her signals mean? As in, like, there's a creature coming or something like that?
So you saw her basically hide and crouch in the bush and then make some signals. You're assuming, and you saw the dog growl or start to growl. So you're assuming there's something coming from up that path, but you don't have no idea what it is or how many or anything like that.
Okay. Well, what I'm thinking is, if I could sort of like creep very cautiously forward to there,
okay,
or to somewhere where I can essentially peer out into this big area without being seen, ideally.
Yeah, no problem at all. Give me a.
Am I at disadvantage on every single skill check at the moment?
Yeah.
Probably
Unfortunately.
a bad idea then.
Yeah, you're just knackered. Yeah.
I mean, don't let the rules stop you doing something. This thing isn't that observant. It hasn't spotted Amalfrida yet. So,
well, yeah, okay. I'm going to try and sneak forward to there, wriggling quietly on my belly.
All right. So give me a. So I'll say if you take a double move and sneak, you can go 20 feet, not 30 this round. Especially as you're trying to. So stealth normally halves your movement. So you go from 30 to 15. But if you're taking a 4-round action, I'll say you can go that. No, I'll say you can go up to 20. So, 8 dropped 8. Okay, let me see if he spots that. You get to kind of about there. Actually, I'll say about there. So you're going up. You can just see out into that area. You can't see. No, just give me a perception check to see if you can spot this thing just going round to the south. No, you don't see it. So it looks that is a fairly moonlit clearing. It looks pretty quiet. Can't sense anything up there right now. Okay, Monin.
As he spotted Amalfrida just crouching down and going into a bush.
Yeah, just give me an insight to see whether you interpreted her hand gestures. She's flicking you the V's from the inside the bush. Yep, you're okay. So you basically get a sense that there's something large coming from the north.
Okay, so he will just grab his warhammer and try and bring his shield up as quiet as possible while just hunkering down beside the bush.
Okay, so just arming himself. Cool.
Yeah.
Amalfrida, ever felt slightly isolated? What are you up to?
Going to run in and hit it then. I mean, there's nothing else I can do. I pointed, they can hear it. I pointed, I said one, I said it was big, and they've not moved. Fuck.
You come pounding out of the bushes, axe at the ready in a two-handed grip.
Broadsword.
A broadsword at the ready. Okay,
Yeah.
so you've got your broadsword and shield. Cool. That hits.
There you go.
Okay, you got its attention. It's got massive meaty hands that it's got you. But what it does first off, it shrieks this blood-chilling scream. You get coated in fleckles of spit from its mouth. It's as loud as you've ever heard. This horrific roar that it creates. I'll just have you make a wisdom saving throw. So you just cower back from it at the moment. So you're going to try and peg it south next round.
Okay.
You'll get another save each round from that thing. But you suddenly realise the size of this bastard as it does that. It definitely noticed you. It slams a massive hand down at you. Oh my god, that connects on your shoulder. You never felt anything like it. You get crunch, nearly fall onto your ass on the floor, but manage to keep your feet. And then it bites at you. Oh my god, the bite! And this nasty spittle-flecked mouth comes at you. Takes a huge chunk out of your shoulder as well. Oh, you're not feeling good. You're feeling distinctly ungood. Huon.
I'm going to let Huon bark because I think noise will add to the confusion to this beast, but I will hang on to him so he can't run off. So I'll let him bark and growl more loudly now.
Okay.
And that's it.
But you're not doing anything with him, all right?
No.
So you did hear this horrendous scream from Amalfrida, and you could hear it through 30, 40 feet away, this massive, hardest punch you've ever heard. It sounded more like a horse kick than anything else. And there was a crunch as it struck Amalfrida. Okay, so that's Hathis moving.
Yeah, Hathis moving there and he's going to bow him, assuming you can see him.
Do you have your human, aren't you?
Yeah, I haven't got night vision, but it depends.
You can bow him at disadvantage. It's not that. It's still like early hours of the morning and dark.
Okay, it all adds to the confusion for the creature that isn't just focus entirely on her. So, well, yeah, that'll be a miss then.
You missed.
Yeah, fine.
Sigmar, you heard this massive growl up there. Luckily, poor Amalfrida was the only person within range of it, but it curdled the blood. What do you do?
Well, shoot it and shout, "Run, Amalfrida!"
Can you see at the moment? Or are you in a bush?
You would be. You need to move out of the bushes to get a clear line of sight at the moment. It's got partial cover firing through like brush at the moment.
How far
Okay.
off you?
Yeah, probably say to there if that's all right. You can dive back in later, but you can kind of wing it from there. That's a hit. Now damage twice. Take the bet. Hang on a minute. Do you get a sneak attack damage if someone's next to it? Okay, so apply sneak attack and then roll damage, and then apply sneak attack again and roll damage again. I'll reduce it.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Let's lose the 11, keep the 22.
I think you may want to keep that. Yeah, nice damage.
Lovely.
Okay, so describe that shot, Sigmar.
Furious that he's just seen his companion battened down by a huge, great, ugly brute. He puts a shot right in the side of its neck when it's distracted. Looking back 10 feet to where he was.
Okay. I'll move you back to there.
This is good. We're overloading him at least with directions and threats or spots.
Nice job, Sigmar. Right, Monin. You hear poor Amalfrida is sounded in a bad way. There's another massive roar, and you heard an arrow hit home from up the woods.
So Monin, when he sees Amalfrida just jump out of what he thought was a hiding place and then runs surging forward, just curses in Kuzdal, and then jumps out of his hiding place and runs forward to see what on earth she's charging.
So you kind of run through the edge of the scrub there, and holy shit, this massive bastard it's got an arrow stuck out of its neck. Doesn't look like it slowed it down much, unfortunately, and it's honing in on Amalfrida. It's got massive fists raised in the air, and it's bellowing and roaring.
Okay, he'll run forward then to use the second action. Can he do it? Double run?
Yeah, you won't be able to attack, but you can definitely move right up.
Yeah, well, at least I can then use the shield as a protection, as a reaction.
Okay.
Do you get action surge or anything like that, or second wind?
I do, but I'm going to save that for...
No, that's fine. I'm just thinking out loud.
Okay, so next up, Amalfrida. So at the end of your round, you can make another save, but at the moment you just peg it south 30 feet. So you start running, but you can make a save at the end of the round. It's got a dwarf to cope with right now. So just give me a wisdom saving throw. Roll high. Okay, it's not quite high enough. No, actually, I'll say that's only one off, and you're further away from it now. So you are no longer frightened. You're frightened, but you are able to take some action now. You see Amalfrida run past. You can almost see the bruising and swelling on the side of her face where this massive fist probably connected with her head, but she's looking like she's pulled herself together. Do you want to do anything else, Stuart, as well? Now you're out of fear.
No, I won't do anything else.
Okay. You just run there. You're regathering your strength again. So it's going to slam a fist into you, Monin.
It'll try.
This huge, meaty appendage comes flying down. And then it roars in pain again. You can see with its other hand, it's kind of picking at this, what looks like a toothpick stuck out of its neck, massive neck, the width of your torso, Monin. But it does let out this fearsome bellow again. You cack yourself in fear, and you are, this is bigger than you thought, and you can see why Amalfrida ran the way she did. Oh, sorry, Huon's next.
I'll get Huon. Huon will creep round to see what's going on. So he'll move next to Hartfast, but probably won't go any further than that, because then he'll make a small pile on the ground.
Because Huon is like, and then,
bloody hell, yeah, it's even bigger than I thought. Yeah, it's eating the dwarf. Right.
Okay, it's Hartfast. What does Hartfast do?
I'm going to add troll slayer to your list of epithets.
No, in a fit of insanity, Hathis is going to go up behind Monin, and he is going to touch him, expend a heal dice, and remove his frightened condition with some whispering in his ear. Go on, lad. You can take him. You're fine. Think of your ancestors. Think of your people. We need you. And he'll remove the condition frightened from...
Ooh, look at you being all fancy. Okay.
Ooh.
Exactly. That uses a healing dice, but instead of healing him, I'm removing a condition.
Okay.
Very nice.
Okay.
And that's all Hathis is doing. He's moving 5 foot from that shield.
Sigmar.
Same thing again.
It's going to pop up, shoot him, and pop down.
Let's see if we roll three sixes for damage again.
Slightly more frightened manner. Because he's seeing everybody getting a battering now. Yes! He shoots the tree next to himself.
Nearly shoots Monin in the head, but it was between.
Wouldn't notice.
He's shaking so much the arrow drops out of the bow.
That's cool. Okay, next up is Monin. This you have the reassuring, calming hand of Hathis on your shoulder. Well, I'm sure it was on your shoulder, but
we're counting on you. You hold him up. We're running.
I've got a tick here. Inaction surge. So that means, does it come back after a short rest though? Action surge. I think it does.
It does, yeah. So you would have had a short rest equivalent by now.
All right. Well, he was just about to falter there. In fact, we all know he was faltering, but he'll always say he was just about. And then his little words from Hathis pretty much just shames him, and he gets really angry. So he goes action surge and tries to hit the thing twice.
Good luck.
Yes, critical.
Oh, Hathis has inspired you to greater things.
Oh, nice damage. 16 damage. There's a massive thunk as your Warhammer hits home. Whoa, a 19.
Thump, thump.
Yeah, ye scaly bastard!
That makes a very, very weird noise, and it looks like it's... In fact, actually, see what it does. It literally shits itself. Oh, and it's horrible. It's like, and it's like explosive diarrhea comes out of its rear end. Oh, the stench Monin to Hathis. It's unbearable, but this thing is looking very, very scared now. And it's where you hit it, you've probably got a kidney shot or something, but it's like bent over. It's grasping its lower back. It's horrible. Not enjoying it at all. Amalfrida, this is a chance to come in and finish it off.
I think she'll just go to the right-hand side and bandage your wounds.
So Amalfrida goes into just behind the dog, starts some bandaging work. The scale thing, it's not very wise, unfortunately. See what it does. God, it's really, really unwise. Oh, failed it. It's going to attack. It slams its massive fist at you again, Monin, but it misses, and then it leans in for a bite from it. Oh, but that hits. Gets through your armor. Oh, takes some chain link with it as it rips out of your shoulder. It's looking on its last legs, though. Is it time for Huon to finish it off?
Huon is going to run up sort of to the side and try and distract him to create an opening for Hathis to then hack in.
Like there?
Yeah, there's something like that, yeah.
Okay, so dog come. You don't need to make any animal handling moves to get it to do this, do you?
No, he's trained to help me, so no, okay. I don't need to.
All right, okay, it's now up to you, Hathis. Is Hathis the Slayer gonna come to the fore?
He's gonna 5 foot step next to Monin, and he's gonna try and tonk it with his staff of much slaying. Yeah.
So you'd have to just drop your bow. So it is
that's fine.
Yeah, but yeah, you can free action. Just draw your quarterstaff, and then you hit.
Oh no!
Okay, that works.
Oh my word!
I'm going to turn and just high five Monin.
My suspicion is it didn't cause a 20-foot radius explosion of blood and gore. Okay.
And a radioactive symbol token by the look of it, or was that just it's dead?
That means it's unconscious. I'm going to clear that off. That was hilarious.
Good hit.
So yeah, it's So what did the final shot look like to dispatch the?
That was the end of the staff just dunked down, smack on the bridge of his nose, and there was a nasty, sickening crunch, and then it just fell to its knees and just keeled over.
Okay, eyes rolled back in its head. It lands in a pile of its own shit in the floor. It's not the most heroic of deaths from a massive creature from the far north, but you've probably done the locals a favour by killing that thing.
What on earth was that?
Big scary breed.
Well done.
There's a lot of blood and shit round here.
It's near dawn. Amalfrida is looking badly wounded still. She's kind of tended to herself. Do you have first aid skill, Amalfrida?
Almost certainly not. Let me have a look.
I should be able to.
It's medicine, isn't it? So
yeah, it's medicine.
I don't think you can use it untrained. But
no, I don't think you can.
Use a hit dice, can't I, to get some hit points back, and I get those back after a long rest.
So you can also. Hartfast can heal you.
Yeah, I can spend 10 minutes finding your wounds, treating you with herbs and poultices, and offering soothing words. And then you get a bit of a hit point gain, and I get that Hands of Healer. You have
it's the soothing words. It's definitely those that sorted it out.
Absolutely, 1 healing die per level. So I've got 4 of those. I've used 1 on.
And you get those back. You get those back when you take a long rest, do you?
Replenishes when I take a short rest.
Right. Okay.
So that's no problem.
Okay.
So I can definitely do that with Amalfrida.
You do that, and then I'll top up.
Yeah. Yep. So heal 2d8 plus 5. So do I presume I target Amalfrida?
Yeah.
Slot, and then heal point.
So next, I won't do it this session because I reread all the rules.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
You're nearly up to max. So the way I've been reading about this and actually looked at asked some questions on the Adventures in Middle-Earth forums about the implementation of rest, like the 5e resting mechanism. So when you're traveling in 5e, in Middle-Earth, in this rule set, their aim is to you get your hit dice, but you can only recover those at a long rest. Now, if you're somewhere where you can take a long rest, like in an adventuring site with a secure room, you can get the benefits of a long rest. It's assumed if you're traveling that you never get the benefit of a long rest. You can still use the healing dice, but you don't regain them at all, from what I can work out. Now, I'm not going to implement that right now, but I will do from next session, because it makes then the results of your travel and actually your ability to travel between sanctuaries, not necessarily 300 miles straight shot through Mirkwood in one go. Really important. So just keep that in mind. I'll try and summarize the rules for you guys. I'll try and put them on Discord or something in between this and the next session, so you kind of understand that. But that's the rules as written. I just hadn't implemented them more like the variant healing rules in 5th edition, but they're actually more severe only for traveling, for the traveling components of this. All right. You have an eventless rest of the night. You wake up a bit subdued. Weather.
And can you, presumably we gain the benefit of a short rest, John, so could you give us a short rest so that my Hands of the Healer come back, please?
I can give you the short rest.
Is it called Hands of the Healer? Yeah, because I did it on Monin as well, because he was taking a bit of a chomp.
Yeah. You are short rested.
So does that mean we didn't have a long rest?
No,
you can
you only do that in sanctuaries.
You can only get a long rest in sanctuaries. Now, I'm gonna. Sorry, go on.
If you cast spells, you can only get your spells back by going back to a sanctuary. Then
there are no spells.
Oh, okay. There are no spells. Yeah.
It's just healing dice, and you just don't relax properly on the road.
However, it's quite exciting.
I never shake off my exhaustion until we get to a sanctuary.
Yep.
Athelas. If I had some Athelas, I think I could probably help you.
That removes
exhaustion from number of creatures equal to my scholar level.
There you go. So you can sort that out you can get some of that that's quite easy to find as well, I think. Okay. Anything you want to do in the morning? You see some fresh, like deep-ish footprints coming from roughly kind of that direction, coming down towards where he died. But you want to what do you want to do, or do you just want to kind of keep heading up to Hartfast?
I think we should check out if he's got any kind of lair. He might have got some stolen goods or unfortunates that he's kidnapped.
Having watched The Hobbit, I'm looking for a Sword of Gondolin, so I'm going to follow the tracks.
It's a troll hole. Yeah. Let me get rid of.
I love that blood spatter. This is just Hartfast's handiwork here.
I'm going to delete that. It's just too silly. There you go. I will unlock your tokens. If you want to head off northeast, just move up to your max move, and unless you're taking specific precautions, and I will unhide some more map. So you're going up that way, okay? So the footprints came from that way.
Definitely want to head towards the troll hole.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Troll hole.
Don't want to make Mrs. Troll though, do we?
Oh,
it's
no, that
daylight. It's daylight.
That was the baby troll.
Yeah,
do you remember the
Junior.
figure flats in Merp had the trolls, and it had the lady troll, and she had these very large, droopy, pendulous breasts.
I do remember that.
To a 16-year-old with no internet.
Oh God!
Oh, there's something slightly strange up here. Oh, it's a gully or something cut into the earth. As you get closer, you can see and smell actually a dark, foreboding sense coming from it.
Talking of dark foreboding, does my dark foreboding tell me anything about it?
Ah, you've both got a bit of dark forebodingness going on.
I think Amalfrida has it as well.
Hang on then. Okay, you sense that the threat's gone. The immediate threat from last night. There's no lingering threat to you. You feel a bit lighter than you did last night.
Well, that's good. I'll go and look at the gully then.
There's no dwarfs in the gully.
How the hell did we kill that thing?
Well, I hit it with my staff.
Moaning took it apart in one round, pretty much, or
Yeah.
a lot of it apart anyway.
There was about have 22 sneak attack damage going in first.
Ooh, let's do this. This is very exciting. Who knows what we're going to get? Okay, that's a random. That's a horde generator.
Excellent.
HORD.
Treasure hoard or creature hoard, John?
I'm not going to say.
I'm hoping it's HOARD.
Okay, so you get up to this, and the smell is bad here. You look down. It's very obvious footprints coming in and out of here, and there is broken down bracken and stuff around the entrance. It would be a squeeze for a troll, but it's pretty easy for you guys to get here. It looks like the troll has come always up and down through the southern side of this, but there is footprints tramping around and going north as well. At the moment, there's just a horrible stench coming from it. The floor is very steeply sloping. At the moment, who's up? Sigmar. So Sigmar, you can see, probably descends 15 feet, maybe 20 feet. And it's a very, very narrow sort of gully, almost like a cave or a fissure. Not a very nice place to sleep, but it would give protection from the wind and elements and the sun. What do you want to do?
Listen and observe for a minute, just to make sure there's no... I don't know.
Okay, so you're really being cautious. Other than the stench, and the stench appears to be coming from more east of you than directly in the hole. When you listen, actually, give me a perception check. You don't really sense anything. Maybe there's slightly more birdsong around, but nothing comes out. Nothing really concerns you after a couple of minutes listening.
Whilst listening, I doze off.
So what do you want to do next?
You think that Sigmar is carefully observing the cave, but then you hear a snoring sound.
Don't worry, he's got this.
Hartfast will take a 5-foot step up to Sigmar, shake him gently on the shoulder, and whisper, "What do you think? Is it safe? Is there anything?"
Quiet, I'm trying to observe if there's anything there. Yeah, I'll clamber down and see what I can see.
Detritus like bones. This thing, brutal though it was, is little more than an animal. You've seen bear caves, well, not Sigmar, but probably Amalfrida, maybe Hathors have seen large animals that dens are better tended than this. It's left like piles of bones in there. There's deer skin partly festering in the corners where it's thrown it after stripping it off a carcass. But you do just give me an investigation check, Sigmar, and Hathors if you're climbing down as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sigmar spots nothing at all of any note.
Exhaustion sucks, I can say.
Yes.
It does. Hathors, the next level really sucks. You do spot something. You spot a glint of shiny metal in and amongst the detritus. Looks like there was some furs, and it's in and amongst the furs. You see some glints of something, multiple quite small things in there.
Can I quietly try and extricate one, try not to make any noise, not to dislodge, not to chink, not to clatter or anything, but I'll take my time to quietly extricate, if I can, one of these shiny objects.
Yeah, as you're down there, you get quite reassured. There's no like passages off down there. This is just a cavern under the ground.
Okay.
So you're on a slope up now. This looks like it was just kind of either water or some sort of plate shifting did this a long time ago and just been lifting. But yeah, you find you lift one up cautiously. It's pretty fetid from where it's been lying and dirty, but it's very clearly gold.
Oh, in which case I shall quietly gather the rest up, keeping them open in my hand so the others can see what I'm doing. But I shall quietly gather them up as...
I will drag it into the party sheet. You found 25 gold coins.
Wow.
Blimey.
Yes, exactly. That'll tide you over for a while. Yeah, so you spend about an hour searching around. Hathors looking dead on his feet. You've still got a ways to go, a few days travel before you get to Hartfast, but your spirits pick up a little bit. You've at least got enough for the rest of the season's food and accommodation, all those kind of things, even if you stayed in a town.
More importantly,
remember,
you can pay me back, Hathors.
Exactly. But first, I think I ought to put my armour back on, because I'm currently in my pyjamas.
Very fetching pyjamas too, I should think.
It's my special scholar's pyjamas, but there you go. I've got my armour back on now, so I'm feeling a bit more comfortable.
Okay.
So we've searched around this sort of dumping ground, come littered, sort of troll hole, yeah?
Yeah. So we can come off the tactical map now. You found it, you killed it, did a fine job, and moving up towards the hall.
Is the river hobbit, or whatever it was called, with us?
Yes, although I should probably put him on he slept through the whole thing. He just disappeared into the woods.
Yeah, no. I'm not expecting him to contribute. I'm just checking we've still got him. Hasn't run off or...
You're about just under halfway. So you would estimate it's about 60 miles. So it's about just under 3 days travel. You take the same precautions. I rolled this already. And despite being tired and weary, you get to Mountain Hall with 3 days later. It is now... Don't think so.
This place, let's go somewhere else.
Mountain Hall is... Let's go to the map. Don't think you opened it yet.
But before we actually blunder in and talk to anyone, can we remind ourselves what we're going to say and what actually happened?
So, Neil, this is the end of travel, so you can rest here. So if you're traveling, say, up and down the length of Wilderland, you would hop from sanctuary to sanctuary. It's classed as one travel, but you can take long rest equivalent. This is the end of your travel because you'll come to do something. This is now part of like an adventuring phase. You can get a long rest benefit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The journey's over. We finished journeying, so you can now long rest.
Yeah. So it is middle of the afternoon, like 4:30 or so on the 22nd, when you arrive at Hartfast's hall. Well, you said you want to talk first, but you're basically coming up the track up to Mountain Hall again. Over to you.
So rather than just wing it and try and remember while we're actually talking to this guy, what are we actually saying? We're saying that the chap that was our guide, whose name we've forgotten, he betrayed us, didn't he? He led us into an ambush and had been previously leading other trappers and fur hunters to be captured and enslaved by the orcs and nasty things in the Dwimmerhorn.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember his name?
Not off the top of my head. Was it?
Magric, was it?
Magric.
Yeah, Magric.
Magric, yep. So he'd been double-crossing us. We rescued this other chap. Is he with us? Who's the chap we rescued?
Yes, you did rescue him, and no, he isn't. He headed. He stayed on Traders Island. Actually, he took him as far as there. Walar.
That was it. So we had a battle with some orcs and a couple of wargs and a black urk. Defeated them. Decided discretion was a better part of valor, and headed back. We picked up Byrgol, who is a river hobbit who lived last of his people. He's witnessed what's going on, so can testify what's going on even better than we can. Have we missed anything?
The fort, the stone fort they're building.
We didn't see that, did we? We've been told about it by the chap that's now legged it, but also by Byrgol. We didn't actually see the Glimmerhorn or Dwimmerhorn or whatever it's called. Dwimmerhorn. And we decided it was way too dangerous for us to try and infiltrate or attack it. So we've come to tell alert. But he said there's about a dozen, didn't he? Furriers, woodmen, etc. in there that have been captured and put to work building ramparts and making weapons.
Dozens, probably. Oh, yeah, sorry. More than a dozen of slaves.
Okay, yep.
But a lot of orcs as well.
No,
yeah, so he was clearly very scared. He says dozens of orcs or whatever he said, but yeah, there's
yeah. And Byrgol can lead us or lead anyone back to the Dwimmerhorn, because we haven't been there, but Byrgol can theoretically tell people where it is. And the chap escaped via a back goat path and then legged it.
So he's told you there was there's a secret-ish way up to the wall that's kind of coming out behind the Dwimmerhorn. Yeah. You don't need to go up the front gate. There's a main path and track up to the front gate where all the orcs go. But he escaped
down the back goat path, as I called it. But yes, some kind of semi-secret way out.
So that, if you to scale that, you'll need probably to do it more easily some equipment to like climbing kits and stuff to do that, and more rope. You think Byrgol could help you navigate back to the Dwimmerhorn? Walar could as well, or Magric. Magric ain't going to. But that's kind of what you know. So that was a pretty good summary, Chris, of what you found out. Okay, so where do you want to go so you're basically coming up to Mountain Hall. Where do you want to go when you get there?
I think we need to go and talk immediately to the head honcho, because they're his people, I believe, that are mainly being affected by this. So he needs to know sooner rather than later.
Okay. I can bring up a map if you want. I think you can probably remember it. So it's a very bleak place. You go up to the gatekeeper. The gatekeeper recognised you. You've only been there within the last 10 days. And no, a bit longer than that, but fairly recently. He says, keep your weapons. You did us a good favour.
We're friends now. We're friends of the Berg.
You are. You're Berg friends. You are Bergers, they call you. He waves you through. You walk down, and it's really interesting. He absolutely doesn't notice Byrgol's with you or take stuff from Byrgol. Byrgol he's almost like a kitten around your feet. You kind of sense he's close to you all the time, but never touches you, and is always like just out of sight of the gatekeeper as you walk past. It's quite an uncanny knack he's got. You walk into the Berg proper. I guess you're going to his hall rather than the main meeting hall.
Wherever he'll be during the day.
Okay, you go up to his hall and he is there. If you remember, the hall had some elders sitting around monitoring proceedings. Looks like a kind of advisors. He was on a slightly raised dais at the end. You are ushered in after only about 10 minutes, and it looks like they're kind of clearing up from a couple of beers and a sandwich as you come in. And he raises and says, the travellers to the fields, the Gladden Fields. What news do you bring?
Are there many people in the hall at the moment?
Probably about 8, 10, and normally like greybeards and, should we say, the wise counsel that advises him are in the audience.
Okay, so it's not like members of the public. It's kind of
no one's actually he's not judging anyone or anything like that. It looks like it's a quiet period.
So I will say, my lord, we bring a tale of treachery and of a growing threat in the Dwimmerhorn. The news is grim. The tidings
Okay.
more so.
Monin, you feel like a tug on your jerkin from just below you, and you're quite short.
That's the hard. Who's in?
Yeah, look down.
Yeah, so Byrgol's there looking up at you. He's absolutely amazingly well hidden in the shadows that you're casting, even though he's not that much smaller than you. And he whispers really quietly, "Is this the Hartfast you talked about?"
Aye, he's the one you want to get over your side.
All right, thanks. Sorry, come back to you, Hathers. What did you say?
I said we bring a tale of treachery and betrayal and a growing threat in the Dwimmerhorn. The news is bad, the tidings are woeful, kind of thing. It's a précis of what I said.
Grim news indeed. Come on up.
Okay.
And as you kind of start walking up to the dais, Byrgol extricates himself from around the back of Monin. Who's that wee bugger there?
This is Byrgol, the last of his people, a river hobbit from the Gladden Fields.
River hobbit? I thought they'd gone like
West,
20
east,
years
north.
ago.
I'm sure he can tell the story of his people and of his life, but he is an important ally in this and has much knowledge of what's been going on in the Gladden Fields. In fact, he's probably seen more than any free man.
He invites you up. He says to a middle-aged lady who's clearing some stuff away, "Wait with that." And there's a jug with some beer in. He asks for some more cups to be brought in from the sideboard at the back, and you get some little bit of food and some drink. You look pretty tired, and he looks over at Sigmar and says, "You're all right, son. You look dead on your feet."
Yeah, I need to sleep.
So tell me the story. I won't go through the whole bit, but Byrgol does a surprisingly good job. He's quite engaging when he speaks. He doesn't do too much embellishing, because he senses quite quickly that Hartfast just wants facts. He mentions that there's a Dunedain he knows that travels around and he's seen crossing the river and has got to know him, that could vouch for him. But he said other than him and a few other fishermen from Traders Island, he keeps himself very, very under wraps. But he said, I've been monitoring some build-up of activity in the Gladden Fields for many years now. And anything I can do to help you, O great king. And he's a bit over-emphasizing the flowery language when he's describing Hartfast, and then he backs off again as he senses that Hartfast not that impressed by that. But basically, any help that you could offer to help clear the Gladden Fields would be well received, and you'd have the eternal gratitude of the river folk who could maybe recolonize the river at that junction again. It's just too dangerous for them now. So he tells that tale. And you tell your tale, Hathas, and the rest of the crew, from what you found. Hartfast you can tell he's like worrying on a chicken bone throughout most of this, like chewing the gristle off it. And he throws it down on his plate, and you can tell he's pissed off, and he's just like, I never knew it was that bad. I thought it was just, I don't know, maybe it's a few stray goblins there, but that sounds very organized. I must say, 2 days ago, there was a hill woman arrived for asking after you, Hathas. I think Radagast sent her over.
Oh, okay.
She missed you on the trip up, but she's been here about 3 or 4 days. She tried to find you, got wind of you at Traders Island, I think. Made good time to get here, but I can go and call her. But she was asked by Radagast to come up and help you if you needed it. She knows the West Anduin like the back of her hand, apparently. She's a really good trapper.
Okay. Was that unexpected?
Are you going to trust another woodman offering to help navigate the Gladden Fields, despite who sent her.
King, how well do you know this one? Because the last one there didn't work out too well, did it? I mean, do you know who he used to associate with? Because you might want to keep eyes on them. Any traders that he's particularly a friend of, they could be just as bad. It could be a network of them for all you know.
Magritte we've known for years.
That's
That is, something must have happened to sway him. I guess greed or something, but treacherous bastard. He's never going to come back in Mountain Hall, and you can tell the scribe next to him. He's like he barks a couple of instructions at him to put posters up, wanted type posters around in the drinking hall in the middle of the settlement, and basically tells him to inform the gatekeeper that he's never welcome back here. But no, Magritte never really. He traded, didn't have a favourite to trade with, but we will be vigilant if there's anyone asking too many questions about him.
Has he got a residence or a sort of a home we could maybe go and look at, see if there's any clues as to his, what might be influencing him or why he's fallen?
Not in Mountain Hall, no. Didn't come from here. Never found out where he lived. He used to winter here occasionally, but stayed in the communal accommodation over the winter, helped guard it. But that's it. He travelled light. I just thought he was a good trapper.
Seems to have turned to trapping humans. Terrible story.
That who's helping him as well. Well, all we can do is, so you've got some vague idea that there is some larger numbers. We don't know. You think we can find the Dwimmerhorn now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just trying to summarize what you said, but we don't know exact numbers. We don't know how defensible that place is. Clearly, it's not a job for a handful of stout heroes like yourselves, but maybe we can get more information about the place. We don't have the manpower to trail into the Gladden Fields right now and assault a place like that. I mean, it sounds as well defended. Well, not quite as well defended as Mountain Hall, but it sounds pretty defensible. It's on the top of a rocky outcropping or something.
Send Hathas in.
And they are actively making weapons and armor, so they are preparing for battle, preparing for conquest, preparing for war.
Well, what we need to do is I can get a messenger to Radagast. Let me get Banner in. He calls, and about 2 minutes later, a woman arrives.
Do I recognize her at all? I've never heard of her or seen her before.
Give me an insight check. You might do. No, you don't recognize her when she comes in. I'll show you a picture of her. So this woman comes into the hall. She kind of looks very bright and breezy. She comes up to the dais. My goodness, a dwarf, Master Dwarf, welcome, and that's a hobbit. Oh, welcome, sirs, welcome. And, she's very, very effusive, very, very gregarious. I'm so glad I've seen you, Brother Hathas. I was sent only a day or two. Unfortunately, I was out hunting when you left, but Radagast asked me to find you and assist you in any way to get to Mountain Hall. I've been here now for the second time for about 2 or 3 days, but what news do you have? You were heading this way to try and find information. I won't bother role-playing it out, but basically you repeat what you've said to her, and she says, well, anything I can do to help with navigation. I know the Gladden Fields, probably not as well as Master Hobbit Byrgol here, but I know them. Or if you want me, I can very rapidly take message to Radagast, whatever you think would be most helpful. She's annoyingly upbeat and positive. And for three of you who are doomed to die, she's the antithesis of you. She's the most optimistic, sunny personality to person you've ever met.
Have you been?
Well, we need to think a little, plan what we're doing next, get some sleep, and clear heads in the morning, I think.
Okay. Oh, she loves your dog, by the way. So she's over and she calls,
"Get your hands off my pooch."
Oh, Master Hound, what a handsome specimen. And she's like, and the dog loves the attention. Doesn't get a lot from a bunch of miserable bastards on the road.
Bastards.
So plays with the dog's ears, and but in the end, just rolling around on the ground with the dog, and the dog's like licking her face and all that kind of stuff. She's giggling and laughing, and in a very annoying, upbeat way.
Yeah, very annoying way.
You decide to rest up.
How long do we think it's going to take them to assemble a force and get it mobile and bring it south?
From the Dwimmerhorn, or do you mean Mountain Hall?
Well, yeah, it's from Mountain Hall, so they're going to go down and hopefully clear this out with Radagast and rousing the locals to try and do something about this. As I said, we're too small a force, and that's really would decide, because obviously wouldn't want to be on like recon duties for 2 months, because we're probably going to get captured in a swamp, mosquito-infested shithole.
He's very hesitant just to send a force down there without knowing numbers. But you're talking a season or more. This is like raising an army or raising a something to go and tackle that properly. It's going to take messages up and down the Misty Mountains, across them, to rally people. It's pretty sparsely populated, Middle-Earth. So in terms of just having 300 or 400 men on hand, he doesn't have that access to that number. It's going to be negotiated with fellow rulers around the region, basically. So that's the sense you've got. He basically says that any information you have to discover what is going on there would be helpful. Not sure how you infiltrate that. Obviously, it sounds dangerous. But any information you can find out, that would be really, really useful, just to give us a firmer idea on numbers. And we may actually only need 50 people. If there's only like 15, 20 orcs there, we won't need that kind of numbers. And it's pretty hazy, the information you've got at the moment.
So the chap that we did rescue, who switched paths with us, or whatever the word is, at Traders Island, why didn't he want to come to Mountain Hall? Just he wanted to meet back up with his friends and family and get on with his life, because he obviously could inform this discussion already. He won't have definitive, there's 17 of these and 26 of these and the guards change at 4 o'clock, but he might be able to say, there's this with first-hand knowledge rather than second-hand knowledge.
He just wanted to get back to the east of the Anduin Vales. He thinks that's in the East Anduin Vales as fast as he could, back to his family. He just doesn't want to ever go towards Mountain Hall and Gladden Fields anywhere near there again.
So we could spend some weeks camped out, hidden up, watching movements and numbers and activities and trying to get a handle on higher up personnel and comings and goings at that place, I guess, and report back.
Maybe spot a secret way in.
I don't like the idea of sneaking in, because I'm not a sneak into an orc stronghold kind of guy. But
you do know orcs you've fought orcs in the sunlight before. So you do
much more.
Sneaking in the middle of the night would be relatively dangerous. Sneaking in at day, they'd all be hidden from the light. No one would be outside. They wouldn't be guarding on the walls, you would assume, because they're vulnerable in sunlight. There might be, but it's likely to be safer. So you do have that level of knowledge. But yeah, it's not overly safe. Although Sigmar is fairly capable in that respect, if he's not exhausted. I don't want to railroad you. I mean, if you don't want to go back, that's absolutely fine.
Well, actually, Monin does want to go back, because I feel quite guilty about those 2 fishermen that we pretty much led into slavery.
Abandoned to their fate, yeah.
Exactly, so I wouldn't mind trying to get them out at some point, and if we wait there 3 months, they'll probably be dead by then. So Mona would be keen to go back and observe it and catch troop numbers, and then make a frontal assault. Maybe not the last bit.
Up to you guys. You need to all be in agreement.
Yeah, I'm happy to go back.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I can see a heroic death from Amos Frida coming on. She charges the walls, overcomes her fear, and gets butchered by 40 orcs. Okay,
so maybe a recon mission for a reasonable length of time.
So what are you doing with Banner? Are you asking her to go back to Radagast, explain the threat? You can write a note of that for her, for Radagast, and then what are you doing in the meantime, basically, or afterwards?
That sounds like a plan. I think she's too annoying to have along for any extended period of time, assuming she's not in the room with us at the moment. Yeah, we could send her with a note to Radagast, sort of outlining what we found so far in terms of the Dwimmerhorn and another growing force, etc. And maybe Hartfast, or what his name is, can add a note or 2 as well about, the need for forces once further intelligence is gained. And I guess we can go and do a bit of forward recon on this Dwimmerhorn and try and find out numbers and stuff.
So yeah, if you basically headed, so if you look at the master map again, kind of around the mountains and then down to the Gladden with a contingent from Mountain Hall with a boat, and they would have boats here. I mean, there's a very well, it's not navigable exactly where Mountain Hall is, but there's a much smaller river that comes past Mountain Hall, and so there are skiffs that you could probably not buy, but you could encourage to borrow to get to the Gladden and at least cross it and then walk to the Gladden Fields from there. And if they stayed roughly where I put that arrow, that's many, well, it's like two days away from the risky parts of the Gladden Fields, so they probably feel quite safe there as well. So I'll give you a long rest. Just buy any supplies you need, or let me know if you need anything else, and then you can head off.
Oh, I shall definitely stock up my arrow supply.
Oh, we're rich now, aren't we?
You have got a shitload.
Yeah, I
of
found those 5 copper pieces in that riverbed.
Do you want me to distribute the coins you have?
Yeah,
So you have some each. Bouncing baby Banner comes up to you the next day.
The only thing that cheers me up is her name is Nearly Banana.
And she's very, very, very happy. She's very questioning. You've got a new. Oh, that grappling hook looks perfect for where you're going. And, very, very excited about everything. And you're polite but assertive about, right, we need to get on the road. So given that it's not far, just everyone make a very easy constitution check. But basically, you're not going to need to plan the route. You've been up and down here quite frequently now. You've got a small contingent traveling with you, with a couple of ponies that are taking a boat. It's basically being dragged on a sled behind 2 ponies, and you're going almost directly south. And Sigmar nailed it this time. In fact, everyone has. Yeah, fine. It was like DC 5. So okay. So you after 2.5, 3 days travel, you get to the Gladden where that arrow is, and the party is now there. The next day, I rode across. They offered to basically, and they give you a clear direction of where they're going to be, but essentially about a mile north of the Gladden, and you're very confident you can find it. There's 2 trees on the far bank that are very specific shape, and they're basically a mile north of that in a copse, so they're very well hidden, and they've taken the boat up there. So basically, sorry, to the south of Gladden wouldn't make any sense. Being to the north of Gladden, you wouldn't be able to get to them. They have agreed to meet you there, and they will wait for up to 10 days. And otherwise, I'd assume you're all dead or captured and head back north.
Yeah, don't want to get them captured.
Byrgol, he's looking quite subdued. He's kind of, you get a sense from, and actually in discussions on the journey, that he's a bit annoyed that he didn't think of going for help first. He's tried to kind of just see all of this, and but he's also quite optimistic that even though it's not to help his people directly, but having a strong force go into the Gladden Fields eventually to try and wipe out this orc threat is going to be really helpful to what he's trying to achieve. So he's fully motivated and fully behind getting you guys there. Okay. So you estimate you've got about 60 miles, 50 miles down the river, which is very easy going compared with where you are, and pretty low risk to get to the Gladden Fields. After 3 more days, you enter the Gladden Fields again. Buzzing insects, all of the horror stuff that you remembered from previously. Fairly bleak. It's still grey and rainy, mists in there. Byrgol, despite the mist, though, seems to really, really know where he's going, what he's doing, all of that kind of stuff. And less than a day of traversing the marshes, you go inland a little bit. It doesn't look a lot different from anything else you've seen here. But you eventually come across the area that you're seeking, you believe. And out of the mist, this is what you see out of the mist. Looking at it, you would think, how the fuck could anyone miss that if they're anywhere near the Gladden Fields? However, you have done for a long time. So you can see that zigzaggy path up. That's the main route up the side of the Berg. Around the other side of it, like behind here, is where this goat track was. That it's not populated by orcs or monitored by orcs.
Crikey, I was thinking like some little wizard's tower.
Oh no, this is quite big. There's a black rock of the Dwimmerhorn looms out of the mist finally. The rock rises more than about 150 feet above the marshy plain. Tufts of green grass grow from small ledges and cracks in the black cliffside, but the rock is almost sheer in places. Climbing it will be exceedingly difficult. Atop the rock, you can make out a low curtain wall encircling several buildings. So that building on the right is a ghastly temple of black stone. And so I'll basically say you haven't done anything for a day and a half, 2 days. You've literally kind of dug in, camouflaged where you are. You're more around to the right from the view you've got at the moment, i.e. away from the path coming down, and just monitoring it. But what you see are at night, particularly a sickly greenish light flaring from time to time from the narrow windows of that temple.
Sneak up there, set it on fire.
Yeah. Go on, Sigma. Away you go, son. You're on your own.
It's no oil painting, is it?
Oh, God. And on that terrible joke, because it is an oil painting picture in the image, we're going to leave it. Thanks very much for watching, listening, subscribing, following, all the usual stuff. Next episode, we'll explore the Dwimmerhorn. Happy gaming. Cheers. Bye.